Thank you, Richard Tucker, and I hope he doesn't mind me pointing him out when I see Tim Cullen in the audience, and also one of the most disgusting ads I've ever seen occurred a few years ago when Cullen was running.
I had that queued up, but the members of the committee didn't seem to be interested in watching that.
All right, we've got Senator Colin Smith and Senator Rice.
Thank you, Representative. One of the things I guess I don't like when we're discussing this is using the word dark money. It sounds like it's a word that the title that's been given to this one issue that we're talking about to make it sound all negative. And there's parts, and I want to get into that, but I don't like calling it dark money unless it is not truthful. Obviously, we've all had different, those that have been in very many races, or if you've had an opponent, you've had literature come out that you didn't particularly like. Didn't mean it wasn't necessarily not true. You just didn't like it. But, so I don't like calling it dark money unless it's absolutely something that is false or puts someone in a horrible light. For instance, in this picture we see on the screen, she's very attractive. I've seen pictures of legislators that looked horrible. I mean, it was just horrible pictures. The worst you could come up and they're shed in a true dark light. They were actually dark photos. So for me, I don't like that because I want to be clear when the voters are listening and the citizens are listening to what we're discussing, they should understand really what we're talking about. That's my personal opinion. I want to know what dark money means. And then the second part is I never want to limit an individual's right to donate to an organization that they may or may not want their name spread everywhere. But they should have a right to give money without fear that someone's going to post their name somewhere. So I want to be very cautious about that if they're giving to organizations. If we do that, when we do legislation, if we make any changes, we're going to be very cautious to protect those individuals to be able to donate to organizations that they want to donate to. Or else many of them are going to stop. And I would hate to see some people stop donating to specific groups because they do good work. And then when I look at an ad, we're using the ones you brought up, so I'm going to do that today. The ad that was on there just then, can you tell me one thing that was false in that ad?
I don't know enough about the facts to be able to say.
Then I don't think we should call it dark money. Because it sounds, I mean,
define dark money.
yes, we need to define it.
Maybe should.
I'm happy to do that.
Or not use that title because the public's going to feel like I do. Dark money, it's a negative, even if it's really what's it actually called, the group?
Judicial Crisis Network.
Well, no, that's the actual one in this specific case. But if it's an organization that's doing ads or this group that's done that, if they're just doing them and they're not liked, that's one thing. But if we've implied are we implying they said something that was false?
And I'm happy to speak to that. I'm not wed to the term dark money. It's just basically the term that people use, and so I've been using it so people know what I'm talking about. But I think the distinction is the implication is not intended to be that that a statement is false. The darkness is not about the falsity of the statement. The darkness is about not knowing where the source of the statement comes from. So there's no transparency in that. It's opaque. That part is dark. And so the fact that it's anonymous, not the truth or falsity. So I think that's an important distinction. And like I said, if there's a particular, I'm not wed to that term. I'm just using it because people generally know what I mean when I say it.
Well, it's just an ethics issue. We've all had to deal with some of those that legislators do for themselves as well. But I do think we have to be cautious in how we label things because it can be deceiving and not clear to the public. I just personally don't like to use that term because I think it automatically sets the tone for something that's just a negative. I just prefer not to, but that's my opinion, and I'll probably address it every time you use the word dark if we continue because I think it's trying for that purpose. I think it's intended that way.
I'll say, I think there is a negative with not saying who's paying for the ad. And so, I mean, I think there should be a negative implication. The implication is not that something is true or false necessarily, but someone doesn't have the courage or the forthrightness to sign their name to it. You know, my mom and dad told me that if I was going to say anything, I should sign my name to it. And so I've heard Johnny Cash sing, what's done in the dark will be brought to the light. So, there are plenty of instances where that's not necessarily has to be the case under the law, but I think when you're buying an election, then people have a right to know that.
So coward comes to mind, Brian.
Yeah,
Coward.
Sure.
Thank
I
you,
mean,
thank you.
Yeah. And just to address your other concern, I agree with you 100% about, people being free to contribute to an organization without having their name listed. So that's why I've created that mechanism. It makes the bill a lot longer, which is not good for its viability. But I think it's important, and I would think and hope that if this were to become law, every organization that buys an electioneering communication would create a segregated bank account so that no organization has to turn over their entire membership list. And I think that would be the case. And so that's the goal. And so, because I do want to protect those people and those organizations to be able to have them without having to disclose their names. That's at least my personal intent, yes, ma'am.
All right,